death metal, especially like Venom. And back then, I mean, Metallica, Slayer, of course, Anthrax. Who's the other one? Megadeth. He was all into that stuff, totally into that. Plus, obviously, King Diamond. But something about this Slayer album back then, I didn't quite get it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't get the big four when they first came out. It took me a while. Yeah, listen to the way this next song comes in. Oh, so freaking awesome. But anyhow, I guess a few years later, when I got hooked on Metallica by listening to Master of Puppets, I started entertaining some of these harder bands. Now, there's a lot of bands out there today that, you know, they have that. I'm sorry, but I can't get into that stuff. It doesn't do anything for me. And even though Tom Araya is not really a singer per se, but there's some melodic content to it. It's like, even if you're not, you know, a singer per se, I wouldn't call him really a singer, but he's in key, and he's just showing his aggressive, how whatever it is in his head, he's trying to portray. And obviously, when you got a band called Slayer, you need it to be able to, you know, and he definitely depicts the perfect singer for a band called Slayer. But I got hooked on, what is the name of that album? I gotta think for a second. Actually, I gotta pull it out. Rain and Blood. Rain and Blood is what got me hooked. When I heard that album, I was just like, holy shit. Which, by the way, that's another album, man. If you like Slayer, and you can get into this kind of music, that's another one I highly recommend. Now, I wouldn't say that I love every Slayer album, because I don't. But there are a few. Besides Rain and Blood, South of Heaven is really awesome as well. As well as God Hates Us All. Yeah, that's it. God Hates Us All. I love that album as well. But I will say, production-wise, this one just blows it out the gate. Blows it out the gate. Let's try another one. Hold on a minute. I can't see where I'm putting the needle. Yeah, that's something that you don't get to do with a CD. Here we go. Cool chord. I love the way the drums come in here, slow. It's so heavy. That double bass kick. I will say that if you had to really pick which of the big four, as they like to call it, know, a lot of people want to talk about Metallica, how they sold out. Yeah, and maybe Bob Rock had a little bit to do with that. Maybe also that they were having turmoil within the band. I mean, you know, when you lose Cliff, I'm sorry, Jason Newsted sucks. Sorry. But maybe because of his influence in the band, there was a little bit more of a melodic twist to it. So a lot of people thought that they sold out. Megadeth, such a drama-oriented band. Sometimes it just gets you annoyed, you know? And I was going to do an Anthrax, but I'll just leave it at that. But if I was to pick which one of the four, I think the one that really stayed truest to its form is Slayer. And let me tell you, if you've never heard Slayer before, those few albums I just mentioned, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with them. But I would definitely start with this one, Slayer, Repentless. Now going back to the whole concept of vinyl, the artwork on this is so freaking cool. Especially if you're into that dark kind of look and demonic kind of things. Even if you're not a devil worshiper. Because most people who listen to this music, believe it or not, they're not devil worshippers. A good chunk of them might be atheists, but they're not devil worshippers. As a matter of fact, I remember hearing an interview with Tom in reference that he's a very Christian type guy too. So he just likes the, I don't know, the image of that darkness. Cool chord coming up.
Lay lifeless like dolls. A moment I felt like days. Life extinguished in a race. So nauseous I don't realize.
Yeah. Man, this stuff is so cool. There's really not much you gotta say, man. You just gotta get into it. Thing you see on my eyes.
Last thing your facade. And you scream for your God. However I'm staying. Blood like rain. Patiently.
That's the only hiccup about records. Sometimes they bounce and they skip. But you know what? That's just part of breaking in a new album. It'll work its way out. But let me say this, folks. this is an awesome, awesome record.
This violence finally sets me free, brings demons back.
Well, this is going to be my episode this week of the vinyl review. Repentless. Tune in to the Jay Stone Show on rockmetaltalk.com. Now, this isn't the kind of music that I write, though I have written a couple of songs like this. And you never know. There was a song that I wrote called Cats and Yama, which I might pull out of a rabbit's hat on this next release. It has a little bit of this heaviness to it. Probably going to change some of the words too, just to refresh it. But if you want to hear some Cats and Yama music, just put a .com after it and you can learn all about me too. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Cats and Yama out.
Cats and Yama out. Cats and Yama out. So he reviewed Repentless. I actually got it. I bought it, open copy of it. It had a little damage to the sleeve. I paid like $15 for it. So whatever. Great sounding album. He's correct about that. Yes, we all don't have. We got to get the little volume up on there, man. I got you maxed out. But static on a record generally makes, a skip. You got to keep your records clean. Even from the manufacturer, they come in dirty. I bought a spin clean, so I'm going to test that out. I got to wash the cloths before I can clean the records. And you actually have to sit down and do like all your records. Otherwise, you waste the juice. Can I taste your juice? But this is what the static. That static sound. That's what you hear on a record player. And then you get you get one of those. It's like, oops, didn't do anything. I bought a fucking Marilyn Manson record. I spent a lot of money on it. I took it out of the sleeve and I fucking dropped it. And it was like, oh, god damn it. And then sometimes you get that static. You gotta love static. There's a warmth that you don't get with CDs. They all sound different. They all have their special qualities. Cassette tape, I don't know. They're bringing that shit back, but it is what it is. I'm going to play. This is 4 picks by Ricky Parker. Some independent bands, some bands that he feels deserve some airtime. So we're going to make this into a segment. And this is the first song. It's by a band called Interfere. It's Soaked, and I'm just going to play all 4 in a row. So if you want to get the names of them, you're going to have to tune in and click on Spreaker just to get those. Jay Stone, Rock Metal Talk Broadcast.